So
Well, they can't hear you, but yeah.
they can hear me? How can they hear me?
No, as in you can't hear them. Sorry.
Oh, I can't hear me, right? So it's broadcasting.
Well, we got no attendees so far, so good start. Good start. No one was waiting. We got one.
Where do you see the people? I don't see them.
If you go to participants at the bottom, you can click it.
At the bottom. I don't see the bottom. Where's the bottom? Speaker view. Okay. Q&A. Review.
Are you broadcasting or not?
I am broadcasting.
Yeah. Okay. So attendees can hear us as well.
Yep.
Yes.
We currently have
We
4
shouldn't
people.
say silly things anymore.
I saw. I see
Everybody
the number of.
Where is the people? I don't see them. The attendees. Strange. All right. Oh. I have the speaker view, exit full screen at the bottom. Let's see. Here, participants. Oh, in here. Right. Okay. They're gonna hit chat with the device. Hello, guys. We're still waiting a little bit. Still early. I see Steve Canning on the attendees.
Still a couple of minutes to go. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the chat button as we speak. Yeah.
So we have still 2 minutes to go before the network optic IronYun session will start. So we are waiting for more attendees to join in now. So still 2 minutes to go. Thank you for joining us today. We have still 1 minute to go before we will start with the meeting. We are still waiting for more attendees to log in. So we're still seeing attendance coming in. We have over 80 registered attendees. So we will still wait 1 minute so that they have chance to log in as well.
Right, so I see it's many familiar names on the list. So guys, I'll start in 1 minute just to give people connecting slow a little bit of chance to get connected to it and not miss on this webinar. For most of the people who knows me, I am Oscar Xie. I'm the sales director for Neural Optics. With me, we have the IronYun team. I will be doing part of the webinar. And then IronYun will be introducing and presenting the product to you guys, right? I think we should get started. What do you think, John?
Yes, I think it's good to start.
All right, we'll get started. We'll record it and people can always go back and fast forward it and so on, all right?
Yeah.
So let me get to today's agenda. So guys, today's agenda, I'm going to do a small introduction on Neural Optics, showing you a little bit about the company, maybe a couple of features that I really like about the product. But today's main dish is IronYun. We're going to have an intro and a demo by IronYun. They're going to show some really nice AI that can do a wide scope of tasks from face recognition, OPR, and advanced deep learning AI, such as object searching and weapon detection and so on. And at the end, we'll have a session of Q&A. But if you guys have any questions during the presentation, you can also make the questions. We will either address it immediately or at the end of the session, all right? So for the new guys that are not familiar with Neural Optics, I'll bring a little bit of history on the company. So legend has it that we were founded in 2010 in Los Angeles by our current CTO, Sergey Bistrop. He's a top innovative engineer. And our visionary founder, Nathan Wheeler, who was then a IP camera sales guy. They were discussing about what was the best software to handle and manipulate in a smooth way high megapixel videos, and they were not satisfied with any of the products available. So then they started to create their own product, and they started with a media player called If Media Player, and that evolved by 2013 into what it was the first version of NX Witness VMS. From the earlier stage, we had a very nice feedback from the market, the way we handle video, how smooth, how easy it is. We continue growing till 2016, when we were listed as one of the fastest growing software companies in the USA on Inc. 5000, right? And then under the leadership of our current CEO, Richard Fay, we have been 3 times in a row on this list. This is a rare feat. Few companies do it. And even today, we are continuing growing at an outstanding pace. The next meaningful event will be 2018, where we took a different approach in terms of analytics, third-party products, and we launched Meta VMP, which is a platform that facilitates companies like IronYun to integrate with us. So I'll come back later on this topic, which is essential for today's webinar. And later last year, we introduced NX Witness 4.0 with a lot of improvements. Scalability, for example, on NX 4.0, you are able to connect 100 servers with 100 cameras each into a single Hive architecture system. So that's about 10,000 cameras that are interconnected, accessible instantly on a single client connection. a little bit of our global presence. We are a company that is conveniently headquartered in California. We have a fairly large Moscow office. We have developers and support team there. One fun fact is that half of the guys on the office is called Sergey, like our CTO, Sergey Bistro. We also have offices for technical support and sales office in Taipei and in the Netherlands. And then we have a few permanent staff, more like home office in strategic places. So also on the panel, we have James Cox, this one that looks like a stock trader. He covers the UK, Western and Central Europe. He's based in Barcelona. He's learning some Spanish, doesn't speak fluently, but I do. So we actually do demos and trainings in Spanish. I see a lot of attendees from Spain. James has a quite deep technical knowledge. So if he's your account manager, you get a combo of sales and engineer. On the Eastern Europe side of the market and the CIS, we have Sergey L, another Sergey. He can also speak Russian. And myself, I am based in Paris most of the time. I cover mainly the Middle East, Africa, and a few countries in Europe. The team structure, our team structure tells a lot of what we are as a company. So we don't think ourselves really like a surveillance company, but we think more of ourselves as a software company, right? So if you look at the composition, we are mainly engineers. So engineers makes up 75% of the people we have between developers and support team engineers. So if you think the company looks a little bit like this, I would say that's a close guess. It's actually more like this, right? So it's just a bunch of engineers with the goal of creating the best and most advanced video management software and platform in the world. Regarding our network optics product philosophies, the first thing that we want to do on our product is that it's really user-friendly, it's instantly usable. So we talk always about making the installation 2 minutes. So the file itself is 200 megabits. And with a few clicks, you are able to have the software installed. If you have a, let's say, 30, 50 camera project, typically you can have a general installation configured in 10 minutes to 30 minutes. So it's really easy to use. We have an installation base of 1.5 million cameras and still growing. So in a sense, it's installed from very small projects, like this one that I have in Taiwan, which is a food stall with one camera. So it's being installed in places like this, which, you know, the key thing is that it has to be very easy to use. It has to be mobile accessible. And if you think why those food stalls need a surveillance camera, actually the very good food stalls, they make a lot of money, right? The cook, you know, at the end of the day, he lives in a Bentley car. At the same time, the product is installed in military bases, banks, all the way up to companies that send rockets to the space. Here, you know, the main key is you want a scalable product. Really, stability and reliability are the most important aspects together with the functionalities. The second aspect of the product is that it's truly cross-platform and lightweight, right? So in regards to lightweight, you are able to install our software in laptops, Nooks, with all the functions, even on Raspberry Pis and ARM-powered devices, right? So I see Thomas is raising the hand. If you have a question, you can input it. The lightweight aspect, also note that this is a product that is really feature-rich with failover, smart search, and so on. And also, it is a truly cross-platform. So you're able to install network optics on Windows as a client and as a server. you're able to install neural optics on a Linux. Same, you have the server, the client. You are able to combine Windows and Linux systems together so that they work as a hive. They can even do failover between them without any complicated configurations. And they can do failover, and it's transparent for the user, and so on. But this one looks a little bit sad. Let's put this one. So it's another aspect is that the Linux, the Windows version, they are virtually identical. So users don't have to learn again how to use the Windows version, the Windows client, or the Linux, right? So you learn once, you're able to operate in all these two platforms. Additionally, we also provide a Mac client with the same things, right? That you are able to connect to Linux, to Windows, and then it's the same version, right? Now, the last aspect of it is how extensible we are because of the platform approach, right? So besides being really scalable and user-friendly, we are also, or we strive to be developer-friendly, right? So users of neural optics are able to, choose from a host of different third-party products that can work in an easy way in neural optics. So to this aspect, I'll talk a little bit about integration and VMP. So when you go to our website, most of you guys are familiar with the NX Witness product, which is the video management software. And also you have a section dedicated to the video management platform, which is two things, right? It's a tool to create the NX Witness product, and it's also an integration tool. Companies like IronYun, who are today with us, they use the Meta VMP to create products that work with a high level of integration and easily with neural optics. Now, the question of why use Meta, what's different with other integrations, right? So one of the main reasons to integrate with neural optics is that you get access instantly to a install base of 1.5 million cameras. Now, as most of you guys know, our software updates are free of charge. So all these systems are running on the latest version and across 100 countries and so on. Immediately, you are discoverable to all the different NX resellers. And it's a quick path to generate opportunities in the market. Now, as a NX user, the main interest is that you want to have different platforms, AI products, access controls, and so on out there that you can choose from to cater for your specific needs, right? So we have IronYun, which is amazing. We have Vision Labs. They're fully dedicated to facial recognition, AI tech, who are more on the traffic management, and Centurion, Skyrec on the retail, so on and so, right? So it's really a matchmaking. The platform works somehow like a matchmaking between NX users and AI companies and access control and third-party companies, right? So it's like the Tinder of the VMS and the AIs, right? So this is the really quick introduction, and I believe I still have time for a quick demo of a couple of my favorite features. And I will go, like, it's not a NX webinar with a live demo. So here, guys, I have the client running on my laptop. I'm connecting to a beta demo that we have set up in Taipei. And I would like to show you two things only, right? First, how smooth it gets connected from France to our server in Taipei. I can create Zoom windows, for instance, can drag from one camera to another. And then I want to show you one thing, which is the smart search, right? So you have the bottom bar, which shows green when you have recording. You have the calendar here, where you can go to a specific date, for example, 10th, yesterday. This bar becomes 24 hours. If I click on the 10th, and then let's say 8 o'clock, this bar becomes 60 minutes. right? So if I want to do a smart search, let me bring this camera, which is in one of our offices. So if I want to do a smart search, I can click live first. So you guys have the live image. This is right now. It's 10 o'clock there. If I want to do a smart search on a specific area, I can paint this area. And you see the bar here. It gives you results immediately, right? So the red lines means there was movement on this area on these times. One thing that we do differently in smart search, it's really quite unique, is that the results are immediate. You can have 2, 3 years, 10 years of recording. You paint on any given area and you get the results immediately, right? So for instance, if I want to look what happened, let's say yesterday, June 10th, so you can see this bar, it shows you the hours that there was movement on this specific time, right? If you go to the 9th, it tells you there has been movement on these times. And if you go to the 10th, it tells you there have been movement from 1 to 5 p.m. So let's pick one randomly, let's say 5 o'clock. And then we can click on here and we can see the kind of movement there was on the area. So this is our office manager, Mia. She's doing something really strange, cleaning the office. That rarely happens. And at the same time, on the right panel, if you don't want to browse one instance by one, you are able to browse on the panel for all the instances that they have movement on this specific area that you paint. So if you want to look at him, so this is Ichiro. He's our engineer in Taipei. He's wearing the network optics shirt. You're able to search on this panel aspects that you like. Right, so this is the smart search. And the last thing I want to show is rapid review, which is a very, very unique thing that we have. This is the live view on one of the Taiwan cameras. And today we are always managing high megapixel cameras. One of the main difficulties is when we need to export files, share it around. Every file that you send that is more than 10 minutes is going to be gigabytes. So I'm able to do with rapid review something interesting. Let's take yesterday. Let's suppose I want to share the traffic situation from 3 o'clock to 6 p.m. Right now, this is a megapixel camera that's going to be a huge file. I have one option, which is to export the video in a mode we call rapid review. So I'm going to call it Oscar rapid review traffic Taipei. Right. In this option, I can compress these 3 hours into 10 minutes. I'm going to lose a lot of data, of course. I will have one picture every 35 seconds. And then I can go ahead and click the export. And what it does is that it's going to take that 3 hours, compress it into 10 seconds. And now I have a much smaller file that I can send it by email and share around. Now, one of the interesting stories that I have is I was in the Maldives last year on a vacation / business. And Maldives is 10,000 islands, 3,000 of them are populated. They have 4K cameras everywhere. Every time they have to share a small footage, there was no way to send it by email or anything. They have to put it on a boat, on a USB or on a hard disk and send it elsewhere. So now that, again, I'm connected to Taipei, and we just instantly exported, compressed 3 hours, and now I have to search that file. I think Oscar Rapid Review, this is the one we just created. The traffic, let me close this one. Now I can click on this, and now you have 3 hours of video created in 1 minute. I couldn't even finish my story before this was done. And then if I open the containing folder, let me show you the containing folder. It opened here. So, right, I hope I don't have anything embarrassing in my folders. So it's a file that is only 4.9 megabits that I can now share to you, and you have a good idea of how traffic looks in Taipei. So this is one unique solution that is much needed, much interesting, especially now that we are all managing very high megapixel cameras. So guys, that's everything I was going to share on the network optics side of things today. the talk is about IronYun. If you guys want a demo, a seminar, contact me for network optics. I will handle this to John so we can learn more about IronYun. Right, John, back to you.
Thank you, Oscar. Let me take over the screen and share my screen. Okay. I first want to welcome our European and Middle East customers. And of course, the Middle East customers, especially because it's already after working hours and the weekend has started. So I'm very proud that then still people are joining from Middle East. Network Optics has a very strong platform, as Oscar showed us. And we are always proud to work with our ecosystem partners and create the future together. So thank you, Oscar, for also inviting us for this webinar. About IronYun. We are founded in 2015 and we are based in US, or we have the headquarters in the US. And we have several locations throughout the world. So we are actually a worldwide company. And we have a very comprehensive and broad software package, as it is actually already in development for 8+ years. So we are founded in 2015, but even before that, our CEO, Paul Sun, was already working with the team on the development of this platform. All our solutions are based on, or all our products are based on AI video analytics. And IronYun is one of the top 3 players worldwide in this AI video analytics. And it is also a global company with customers over 30 countries at the moment. And we have also 30+ patents already behind our name. So we have a lot of analytics and we have real-time alerts. At the moment, that is situation occurs, and forensic alerts, and that is that you investigate the situation after it has happened. So real-time alerts is actually when you need immediate action from the security staff. So it can be used with intrusion detection, fire detection, weapon detection, and wrong direction. And these are good examples where you need immediately action. So if a car is driving in the wrong direction on the highway, you want to have an immediate action and follow up. Or if a student enters a campus with a visible weapon, you also want to prevent that he's going to shoot other students, like sometimes is happening in US. And you also want to bring down that person as soon as possible. And if there is a fire in a forest, like in Australia last year, then you also like to know this as soon as possible, that it doesn't spread all around the country. So these are all real-time alerts where you immediately want to react if a situation occurs. We have also forensic alerts, and that is, as I already told, investigate the situation after it has happened. So you are collecting evidence over 100 hours of video in a couple of seconds with, for example, video search, or you can track a possible suspect on the map with timestamp and determine the route he has been walking or maybe driving. People and vehicle counting is also based on forensic alerts. You try to count the people and vehicle to optimize your business operation and also optimize your traffic flow. So you make decision based on the collected data. So our new 4th generation AI is light years ahead. We have already a long way for development behind us, and we are actually benefiting from all our experience in AI and deep learning technology. So we have been tweaking and tuning our AI engine for a long time and feed it with a lot of pictures and videos to optimize the search result. And analytic parameters can be configured and tuned. That means we can set accurate rates for object search to make the search as accurate as possible. It's also faster and more accurate than one camera analytics, because cameras are not capable to perform multiple AI functions at once. For example, you buy a face recognition camera to do the face recognition, and for LPR you are buying a license plate recognition camera. So our appliance server have both CPU and GPU processing power, and it is also you can do very quickly search to 100 petabytes of seconds in videos. This is also what is not possible on an edge device. Reduce false positive means an AI engine is not programmed but trained. We train the AI engine with video and pictures to recognize human, vehicles, animals and objects, and that of course reduces a lot of false positives because the AI engine is not recognizing an object in an area, but he is recognizing that a human is entering the area or that a dog is entering the area. The object is known, so that means that you can also create an area where you only want an alert when a human walks in. Go to the next slide. We say that we see versatility as one of our benefits. So IronYun has more. We have defined hundreds of search objects, and we are able to search on color and quantity as well. So, for example, we can search in a video with 3 yellow cars, or in a video where 2 dogs are at the same time in the video. So we have, as I said, we have a very comprehensive software package. But for the search, we can search petabytes of data and find results in minutes or even in seconds. And it is as fast as you do a search on the Google search engine. So we can very rapidly go to video files. The accuracy is of course high, because if you create a region of interest and only want to have an alert when a human enters the region of interest, then you will not receive an alert when a dog is entering the area. So you will really have more accuracy alarms, and you will reduce the false positives. Also for immediate results, so real-time detection of abnormal events and real-time alerts on action. So if a person is walking in the opposite direction in an airport, then our software will immediately send out an alert to the security staff for action. So if some person wants to do wrong, or maybe a terrorist, and he wants to walk into an area where he's not supposed to be, then you will get an immediately real-time alert, and you can immediately take action. Advanced rules and automation. So our appliance is running through video and create the metadata from objects that it is recognized, as we have trained the AI engine to recognize objects. So we will tag all this information and we will store it on the appliance, and together with a 10 seconds video clip. So it is very easy to link, for example, a person to several events. Just upload a face and search to all the videos. That's all benefits from using our IronYun AI and VR for your analytics. So Oscar already talked about the meta integration into NX Witness. And at the moment, IronYun, we are communicating with NX Witness via a server API. And NX is using the IronYun interface in a software to do the analytics. But we are currently working on the meta integration with NX. And that means, we are one of the early adapters to do the meta integration with network optics. And when the meta integration is done, you can perform the analytics searches directly from the NX platform. And you do not need to use the IronYun interface anymore. So this is a really step forward, and I'm sure that both NX customers as well as IronYun customers will benefit from this deeper integration. This meta integration will be ready in the next 2 months. So we will inform you when this meta integration has happened. I have also one last slide, and then May is going to take over with the demo. And this is related to social health analytics. We are all suffering at the moment from the coronavirus, and IronYun has put a social health analytics package together with thermal camera and also with a lot of AI functions like a mask and no mask detection. You can track and trace persons on a face match. We have social distancing alert if people come too close to each other. We have occupancy measurement and alert. So if people are entering into, for example, a restaurant and it exceeds, for example, 50 people, then the software will give an alert and tell the owner from the restaurant, hey, you have too many people now in the restaurant, so you need to bring back the number of people, or you don't let any person coming in anymore. It is actually contactless access control because the thermal camera, the thermal camera will measure the fever of a person or the body temperature, and we will also use AI deep learning for that. So it is a combination of thermal images and IP camera. So there has no step in between is necessary to handle the social health analytics package. If there are no questions, then I will switch the screen to May. May, are you ready?
Yes, let me share my screen here. Okay, can you see my screen? With
yes,
the, okay. So this is the user interface of IronYun. So as Oscar and John mentioned, when the metadata integration is complete, we will be able to see this, do the searches, the different functions in network optics. So at the core of our product, it is the object detection. We can detect different kinds of objects. And as you can imagine, once this is combined with the smart search in network optics, it's going to be super powerful, because for each of these objects, we can detect colors, and for vehicles, we can do license plate, even make and model. So for example, you can search for a Volkswagen, and because I don't know, the Beetle is the only car I can recognize due to its shape. I'm just gonna do a quick search on a Volkswagen Beetle for full 24 hours of many different cameras that we have connected to this particular server. The server is actually in Taiwan, but you see that by accessing everything via just my Chrome browser, I'm in the US. I'm pulling the data from Taiwan, and it's still very quickly, 2 seconds, 24 hours of many cameras, and I get 28 results. All of these things feature a Beetle with see the VW here, and we can even go further. So here I see that there's this license plate AN88. What is it? Let's see. I'm gonna search for this car, this plate, okay? And we'll look for, we'll see if it can pinpoint the result. So same criteria. I will do a Volkswagen Beetle with, I believe it was this 85. Let's see if I can find this exact one. So I believe it was 28 results earlier, and now we see these two instances. Is exact one. It is this exact vehicle that is correctly detected, right? So with traffic management, with police departments, we can they will use this to track vehicles like stolen license plate, for example, through many different street corners and so on very easily. So this is the map view of this vehicle at the street level. We also have the features to import indoor map. This is in Taiwan, a camera in Taiwan. We can import indoor map for buildings, for example, and do the same thing with object and people, okay? So this is the extent of the object detection, various criteria we can add to the person, the vehicle, and other kinds of object. And as many different combinations as we need to. So in the interest of time, I'm just gonna quickly show the list of other functions we have here. If you guys have any question about any particular functions, please ask in the chat box or the Q&A section. There's face recognition, license plate recognition in more detail, right? With the list enable different lists. You can add as many lists as you want to allow access control for like employees, for example, or parking management systems. There's people counting and vehicle counting. People counting would tie into the occupancy alert that John mentioned for the social health analytics. Vehicle counting is very good for traffic management. There's intrusion detection to secure the area. This one is really accurate for any weather conditions because we can detect specific kinds of object and ignore the irrelevant ones, and other functions as well. I'm gonna go into this alert, how to set up an alert. It's very easy. So for example, here you can set an alert for a person with or without a facial mask in response to coronavirus thing, or with or without a helmet or safety vest for people in construction sites, right? You can choose, for example, I can do a no mask alert for people in this age group if you want to, the color that they're wearing, that kind, or not wearing, right? Someone who is not wearing the correct uniform color. And these criteria can be added. And then trigger the action either by sending it to network optics or other VMS, or connect to a third-party system to open the door or lock a door, for example, okay? So Alison will go over that in more detail in just a minute. So when this is a video that we recorded from our office in Taipei, in Hsinchu, Taiwan, with people, a group of people walking by, and one of them is not wearing a mask. It will trigger the alert right away. So the key advantage of our system is the response time, the time between the actual detection and the alert, or the event and the alert is only less than 3 seconds. So it's almost real time. It allows for door closing and opening as soon as the person is detected on the camera. There's also the social distancing alert, trigger an alert anytime so 2 people are within 6 feet of each other. So here the application is for people standing in a line at the grocery store, for example. As you can see, again, is very quickly, almost real time. When some guy walked by this line, alert comes up right away. This is a real-time video. We did not do any editing to speed up the time here. And just to save the best for last, this is our analytics to detect the skin temperature. So what we use is the thermal stream from a thermal camera, and we don't actually use the reading from the thermal camera because we want to be roughly camera agnostics here. Of course, there are some calibrations that each thermal camera requires. So, but we want to be able to, as we test with thermal cameras, we can integrate with virtually any thermal cameras. And it will detect the face automatically because of our AI facial detection system. And then it does not it will ignore the hard objects and give an accurate reading even when the person wears a mask or a hat, as long as the face is visible. Some part of the face is visible, then we can do the smart calibration within the system and give an accurate result. So so that's I want to stop here and leave time for Alison to do the demo of the integration, but please feel free to ask any questions further into any of these functionalities. Okay, thank you. Alison, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so in order to send alerts from our AMVR to NX, you first want to make sure all your cameras are set up with any analytics you want to put on them. Once you do that, you want to go to our alert tab and set up an alert rule. Once you're in here, you want to...
Alison, can you bring your volume up because it's very hard to follow?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, now it's better.
Okay, so you now want to add an alert rule, kind of like my started showing before. So you want to click add alert. I'm just going to show you the ones that I already created. So you want to add your alert, and then you want to give the alert a name. The alert type you want to click on. For this one, I did face recognition. You want to select the cameras you want to get the alerts off of. Then you want to select your face recognition list. So I did our AI team, so our employee list. Next, you want to click on your trigger action, which is going to be network optics. And here you want to put the your NX server's information, so the IP address, the port number, username, and password. And then we have these three fields: source, caption, and description. And in these three fields, you can put any kind of keywords you want describing the alert, but you just got to make sure it matches exactly what you're going to put into NX, which I will show you in a couple minutes. So once you're done with that, you want to click save, and then you want to click OK. Next, I'm going to show you our intrusion alert. So it's basically the same idea, except for you want to click on the alert type as intrusion. You want to select your cameras and the ROIs you want to alert off of. And then again, you want to click on your trigger action as network optics, the NX server's information, and then your three description fields. Lastly, I set up an LPR alert. So this time the alert type is license plate recognition. I selected the camera I want to alert off of. I selected my not in list, so I want to alert anytime I get a license plate come by that's not in one of our lists. And then again, network optics as our trigger action, the server information, and then the source, caption, and description fields. Again, you want to put any kind of keyword you want describing the alert, but you got to match what it's putting into network optics, which I'll show you now. So once you're done, you want to hit save and OK. And then we're going to go to network optics. And now we're going to set up an event rules. So we're going to right click and go to event rules, and then you're going to click add a new one. I'm going to again show you what I already created. So we want to create a generic event that occurs every time our source, caption, and description fields match what we put our alerts in AI MVR. So I did country road, LPR alert, license plate. And then I selected my action as a bookmark, but you can do any kind of action you want. I just like to do bookmark because it gives you a little clip of what's going on. After you do that, you want to click on your camera that you want to alert off of. And then you want to click OK and do the same thing for each of the alerts you created in AMVR. So here again, generic event off of my source, caption, and description for my intrusion alert. Again, a bookmark, and I selected the camera that I'm alerting off of. Finally, I did one again for a generic event for our face recognition camera. So I did IronYun camera space alert for employee, and I alerted off of a bookmark. I did an action of a bookmark. Once you're done setting up all three of these, you can click OK. And then you'll see over here on the right in your bookmarks, you can get all your alerts coming in. So first, I'm going to show you our LPR alert. That's alerting off our country road camera, and it's saying it's a license plate description. And you can see there's a car going by with an LPR alert. Next, I have an intrusion alert set up. So anytime a person walks across, it intrudes. And then finally, I have a face recognition alert set up that's also giving an HTTP trigger to our door. So every time a face goes by, an employee goes by, the doors will automatically open. So you can see here, she's walking up to the door and it automatically opens for her. And that's basically it for setting up the alerts from AIMVR into NX.
Right. So, folks in the area, is this the end of your presentation?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So I think, John, if nothing else, I think we go to the last part, to the Q&A part, and see if there's any questions that need to be addressed. So there was a question earlier about how do we link. Let me go back to the question specifically. And I think James answered that. How do we bind an alarm output by Moxa? And I think that's something that can be done using our generic event, where you can tell the system to trigger an output. So Fernando, if you have more questions regarding this and Moxa, we'll be more than happy to have a individual session to show how all the input output works in NX. But yeah, it can be done. It's a fairly easy thing to bind a alarm output. Guys, have any questions for the IronYun specifically?
Well, no questions, I believe.
All right, guys. So I think this is the end of the session again. So I want to thank IronYun a lot to show this very, very cool analytic system. If you guys want more information from this system, from Network Optics, if you want a session dedicated to showing IronYun or to showing Network Optics, let us know. I'll be sending emails out to all the people that came. I see some familiar faces, so thank you guys. I see Steve Canning, Eric, and so on. So thank you guys a lot for the time. That's the end of today's Works with the NX webinar. We have several webinars planned through the calendar, so make sure to check on it. And again, anything you guys need, I'll be sending my email to you guys, so you can be able to reach me and also to the IronYun team. All right.
Hi, Oscar.
Yes.
Just quick question. Where
Yes.
can we find this the recording of this webinar today?
So the webinar's recording. So for the folks that are familiar with NX, in the My NX section, there you can find several tools. On the left panel, there's something called webinars, and the recordings are going to be there. So for the guys that are new to NX, you have to sign up for a My NX account. It takes 30 seconds to just sign up on it, and then you access to a very nice a calculator tool, a list of devices that work with NX, a list of companies that sell neural optics, and of course a list of partners like IronYun and how to contact them. And then the webinars are recorded.
We have two questions from Eduardo. So which systems we need to make IronYun works, and how many cameras for each system? So the IronYun analytics, we provide the software in a hardware box in a server. So it comes shrink wrap, you like ready to go, ready to plug and play. The hardware determines how many cameras and also what kind of functions you want to put, you can deploy, because we use a GPU. So each of our analytics functions consume a certain horsepower of that GPU card, and we calculate the number of channels and spec the system for you. So it can go anywhere from 16 channels to 128 per server, and then multiple servers can be connected to make a form of clusters and allow the users to control and view results from all of them, and also via NX. Do you supply software only package? The answer is yes. We do have the software only. If you have the hardware, please contact us and we'll let you know more about the detailed requirements. Thank you, guys.
Okay. If there are no more questions, then we can end the session. And we also like to thank, of course, Oscar and the staff of Network Optics for having us available during this webinar. So thank you all, and thank you, Network Optics.
All right, thank you guys. We need to do this
you.
again, and good evening all. So see you guys around.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.